Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spilling Tea, sponsored by Serious Business, our annual gathering of beauty salon professionals. And I'm Deborah Neal Baker, your host. And today, our guest is someone that many of you know. He's what could I say about John DiJulius? There's so many things. He's an author. He's a salon owner. That's actually kind of where he started. And he's one of these really success stories in our industry that he ventured out beyond our industry and has become hugely popular. I mean, he just shared with me he did an event yesterday for the Marriott. But that's just an example of what John does. And what he talks about, I guess if I could describe John, I would call him an activist. He's an activist, and his revolution that he actually has started and continues to drive is customer service. So with that, I would love to bring John on with me. Hey, John, what do you think?
Hey,
Do you consider yourself to be an activist?
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way, but I'd like to. A disruptor, chief revolution officer, whatever it takes.
Yeah. So there's probably some people that are listening and watching that, maybe don't know you as well as others, but kind of give us a very brief bio of yourself and then, leading up to right now.
Yeah, well, the most important is I'm the father of three amazing boys, and did get my start in the beauty industry almost 30 years ago, and still own the salons today, and they're all in Cleveland, Ohio, and just thank my lucky stars for being in the Aveda network and meeting people like Edwin and you, and your family, and you guys had such a huge influence on me, and still do, but definitely early on in my career. And you guys were one of the first people to throw me up on stage, and which then got me out. I wrote my first book in 2002, and since then it kind of made me a customer service consultant that owns salons. So it's been a great journey, and really love my salon roots, and it means a lot to me to be still involved some way with the people in the beauty industry. You'll never replicate, as you know, that spirit and energy.
Yeah, well, that makes your contribution in this conversation kind of unique because you're playing outside of the industry as a customer service consultant, and I'm assuming that a lot of your experiments and your development actually can even come from the salon business that you're still engaged in. So, give me your definition of customer service.
I will share. So a lot of people today are like, what's customer service versus customer experience? And customer service is what you do, and customer experience is how you do it. And in the olden days, customer service was more, marketing was your offense, and customer service was your defense. Meaning, if something went wrong, let's put the fire out and try to keep the customer happy. But what's happened in the past 10 to 15 years is people have found that the customer experience is really your best marketing. And if you provide an exceptional customer experience, that's going to keep and bring in more new customers than the greatest marketing social media campaign could ever have. So it makes price less relevant when you could become the brand that people can't live without.
Well, of course, that we still, as an industry, as a salon industry, really still grapple with the same issues or, challenges that we've always, and that is, how do we get new guests in these times, considering where we are right now? We're we're in a different place than we were last year and moving hopefully towards whatever the new normal, as I say, is going to look like. But how do you today, the salon and other industries, how do we need to attract new guests in this time?
So I honestly believe the first thing we have to focus on is taking care of our existing client base. And we're really lucky that, all right, so 99% of the world's virtual. Everyone that was working in offices, from lawyers to call centers, they're all virtual. But hopefully all the states are back open. We are lucky because the salons, because you can't get that virtually. So, and people are starving for a connection like never before. So now they come in and they get this in-person experience. And if we're not crushing it, right, we have to make sure we're crushing it and making an affordable luxury a daily necessity by, giving you that escape, checking in with you and asking, Deborah, how's your kids, Paris and Edwin and all your Garrett and all them, and making sure that there's a connection. And I'm making you leave my seat, my room, whatever the thing is, with a bounce in your step. And that it starts there, because we got to make sure that the ones that are coming in are feeling it's worth it. And then, when people ask me what kind of customer I want to attract, I say I want a bunch of Tesla driving, Lululemon wearing, Mac using, Starbucks drinking, Peloton riding customer. Well, then when you ask the next question, well, how do you get them? Well, it's not discounts. That group doesn't care about discounts. That group is worried about value and prestige, and that it's cool to have a Mac, it's cool to have a Peloton, it's cool to be driving a Tesla, and they like that social status, and they care about experience. And we have to design our experiences around that. Now, if you're that person, Deborah, and you are, that means you work with and live with people that are probably the same. So if I take care of you, you're gonna, invite your network and become our brand evangelist. And now we're getting in new customers versus the blind advertising.
So it's using the old referral, referral/relationship system, which is, as things are changing, there are still things that are still as relevant as they've always been. So, especially in, a lot of salons, we've had, when you talk about customer experience, they've had these rituals that they have, performed on a guest coming in, which with the pandemic, a lot of those things had to, even offering someone tea or coffee, a lot of those things had to are on pause. So what would be because what you're talking about is how we make people feel, which is, I think that probably overrides anything we could do. But what are some of the rituals that have replaced some of the old rituals that we've, offered historically?
Well, I know our salons, we're starting to slowly bring those back. I think the first step, when we stopped doing hand and arm massage, is now, we were providing the lotion at the station for them if they wanted the guests to do it themselves. And I know, we have kind of the schedule as things allow and permit, that we will then start doing the, scalp massages, or we've already started that. But we are bringing those back slowly. But I really think it's about the recognition. And you said a word that is so key. It's feel, right? We have to, the companies we're most loyal to make us literally feel something. And sometimes it's subconscious. And it's a feeling about ourselves. It's a feeling about, how hip we are if we use this product or walk through these doors. And it's really important that we are training our employees because we are an affordable luxury and that can be eliminated, downsized, skip. So how do you make an affordable luxury a daily necessity where they choose to skip and give up eating out, 2 or 3 times a week or a month so they can still come to their hairdresser or hair salon? And it's whatever they're going to find the most value and escape. So one of the things that we've spent a lot of time on is everyone's going through a high anxiety, and we really our employees are, we are, and definitely our customers. And so we have to be that escape. And one of the escapes is we got to stop talking about COVID or the pandemic. And it's hard because we're tempted to, and we want to talk about it, and our coworkers want to talk about it, but you just got to stop. So we started this game that if you bring up the C word at work, you got to pay $5 to, the kitty, and that kitty will go towards the next round of drinks the next time we're out or whatever it is. Now, but people ask me, how do you stop a customer from doing it? Because they want to do it. Don't let them. And so one of the things that we do is we never ask you the question, how are you? Because how are you is a deadly trap that you might tell me about how the pandemic has your life upended, or you had to put your dog down of 14 years last night. And those are hard things to recover from. So, instead we say, whenever we see someone, Deborah, tell me something good. And then it makes you think, and you're like, well, and, my daughter, and it always takes us to a good place. And now we're learning stuff about you, right? And, we're helping them have an escape. And it's also better for us, right? Because we become therapists, and when it's negativity all day, that leads to burnout. But if we had 14 positive conversations, not only does the guest get up and feel better, we go home feeling better about life, and that, the political, and all the stuff that we're dealing with is really, really causing a lot of depression today. So that's one way to help.
Now, mental health is definitely something, is a subject matter that we're all, on some level dealing with. Our individual mental dis-ease, and it's at different degrees. So what
Deborah,
are some?
I want to bring up something to that. I'm sure you've heard, which really shows the pandemic does not discriminate as far as mental health, right? And even Tony Hsieh, the great Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos,
that was shocking.
Wrote a book on happiness.
Happiness, yes.
And so, whether we personally deal with it, sometimes people don't, and then they have less empathy for people that do. The number one thing we can do as leaders is make sure we're checking in on our employees, our family, our friends. That's the number one thing we need to be doing right now, because it doesn't discriminate. And if anyone suffers from highs and lows, this is going to have a significant impact.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to be helpful by being transparent myself and my own personal experience with my own mental health issues, especially after the last year and a half and losing Michael before the pandemic, and then the pandemic. And many of you know that, all of my life I've, been engaged in this thing called personal development. And that helped me get through this, but it wasn't enough in this case. And so I just want to put it out there that sometimes you need professional help. And so I went to psychiatrist, and I was put on some antidepressants to rebalance the chemistry in my brain. And it's made a huge difference. So for me, it's not either or, it's and I just wanted to put that out there since we were talking about mental health.
I think hopefully the younger generation isn't as I don't know, in my generation, our generation, being a man, masculinity back in the day was never showing that anything bothered you, which is the most dangerous, detrimental thing we can do to ourselves. And I really think that's important that to me, like you just said, some of us don't get enough vitamin E, so we got to take vitamin E, right? Whatever that looks like. And that's no different from what you just said, that whatever it takes to balance us and keep us, in a good place. The taking care of ourselves first. It's the old comment about putting the mask on first before those of your loved ones. The first time I heard that didn't make sense. It sounded like I was being selfish. Well, in fact, we need to be selfish because, my family is worthless if I don't take care of myself first.
Yeah. Yep. We're all we all have a lot of responsibility and a lot of people counting on us to support them. So we do have to. So I know people are probably thinking, well, what's all this conversation have to do with customer service? So what do you think this conversation we just had has to do with customer service and customer experience?
100%. And customer experience, it applies to anyone that you come in contact with. It could be the person in the cube next to you, the hairdresser next to you, anyone. To me, it's the UPS driver walking, and it's the stranger on the elevator. It's obviously our kids and our significant others. And, we all have seeds of potential. And the seeds of potential we don't sow and don't take care of. For whatever reason, laziness, or you choosing to eat wrong, or not get a workout in, or hanging out around negative people. Okay, that starts cheating all those people that are dependent on us. It starts cheating my family. If I don't get a workout and I eat like crap, have too many beers, whatever that may look like, I'm gonna come home angry, crabby. My kids are gonna ask me to play catch, and I'm not gonna want to. I want to collapse on a couch and just watch the game tonight. All the employees, all the clients, to me, it all is intertwined. And I'll go back to, I've said this before. What if, Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, whoever your icons are, Walt Disney, Edwin Neal Jr., what if they said, screw it, I just want to be ordinary? How different would our lives be, today? But they didn't. They didn't choose to be ordinary. And, there was that ripple effect. Well, we have that, micro in our world. It might be 50 people, it might be 150 people. But, for us, if we live an extraordinary life, countless others do.
Amen. Yeah, it's what I've always, really what initially attracted me to the beauty industry. And what I notice is that this industry has this special opportunity and privilege of touching others. And when they take care of themselves and they are grounded and centered and taking care of self, everything kind of falls into place,
Right.
It really does. So.
And I think a lot of this, I know we're going down different rabbit holes, but I think it applies. A lot of this is what you say. Like, I'll go to someone, 5 times a day this happens to me. Hey, how you doing? Okay. Or, so far so good. Well, it's 7:30 in the morning. What are you waiting for? Like what are you expecting? And I looked up the statistic. I'm a little sadistic like this, but 165,000 people will die today. 2,750 will find out they have cancer. And then just a bunch of other statistics, right? And I say, if you don't fall into those categories or know someone that does, you're doing way better than fine, right? Especially with the pandemic and the people that have just been ravaged by this, and you're still working. Don't give me fine because you got a flat tire or because you got in a fight with your boyfriend last night. Like you gotta, you're doing great. And then the other thing, that I love, to work on is, I might say, to someone, hey, what are you doing, tonight or tomorrow? What are you doing this weekend? Oh, I have to go to my daughter's recital. No, you don't have to. You get to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Deborah,
Yeah.
do you want to, go have, meet for a drink today? No, I have to, get my 6 mile run in the morning. No, Deborah, you get to. You know how many people would love to be able to run 6 miles? You get to. Granted, you deserve to. You earned
John,
it.
it's funny, this conversation. Do you remember when, oh gosh, it's probably been 30 years ago, we studied NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, and it was all about, eliminating negation and really paying a lot of attention to the words you choose and not using the word problem and turn it into challenge.
Yeah.
It reminds
Yeah.
me that some of that we need to revisit.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like whatever, should be proud that, I get to go to my son's wrestling tournament tomorrow. I only have a few more years for that. And then, he's going to be too old and I'm going to be missing those days. Or I get to get a kick-ass workout in tomorrow. I don't have to. I get to. And I think all that, what you talk about, you bring about. And if you think you're fortunate, you will be fortunate. In the grand scheme of things, and no one knows this better than you, we are pretty fortunate.
In spite of everything and anything. That's exactly. So.
And that could go to a hairdresser that, what do you got tomorrow? Oh, I have to go to work. I am slammed. I got 15 haircuts in a row. Do you know how many people would kill for that? I mean, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
And God bless you. You probably earned it. But you're in a great place. You're one of the few people that's incomes aren't being affected by the pandemic once you reopen.
Well, I just trust that one of the things that's come out of this pandemic is that people have been forced to kind of go into a reflective state and be more reflective over the last year. And in that reflection, they wake up to how they need to better take care of themselves. And I know that here we are, we're talking about customer service. And I think that the point that we're making now is that it really starts with self. It starts with your own, the experience that you're creating for yourself. And if you really start some discipline around that, then you will then kind of naturally take care of the people that you touch and in your lives every day. So I know that's
you're absolutely right. If you're not taking care of yourself, and if you're hitting snooze and sleep until the last possible minute, now you're rushing and you're yelling at your kids because they're not in the car and they forgot their lunch, and and you get to work 5 minutes late. You don't own the day. And you're not going to be of value to anyone versus, whether it's meditating or journaling or getting a workout in and just taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself. Now you can't wait. And you see Deborah is my 9 o'clock. Oh, I can't wait to catch up with Deborah and see what's going on. The last time I talked to her, she was working on this and she was, going on a trip and all that. And I 100% agree with you. And one of the things that we do is we ask everyone through this, what's your gift from the pandemic? Because there's a lot of gifts, and it taught us to slow down. It taught us how much we miss and we took for granted the face-to-face. And we're all dying to go out to a restaurant and see people and get our friends together. And I want to hug someone so bad. Like, that sounds crazy, right? But I'm so sick of fist bumps or elbow bumps, right? I want to hug. I want to feel someone's, shoulders on mine. So, there's. Let me tell you my pandemic. You shared a little bit of vulnerability. So my pandemic gift was exactly a year ago. Was my last flight. And so now I'm home every day for every single day. And I'm home in the morning. I'm home, working from the office. I'm home at dinner time. I've never been, had that. Now, as a single father raising 3 boys, 2 of them are adults and out of the house. My youngest, Bo, great kid, but he's been through a lot, as you know, and he's had a lot of depression, anxiety, making poor decisions, getting in trouble. And, this is going to sound so stupid and obvious to everyone else, but it never dawned on me what he really needed, right? He goes to a great school. He's active in sports. We have the world's best nanny. But it took the pandemic for me to realize that I was allowing teachers, coaches, and a nanny spend more time raising him than me, because I travel every week. And I know, most people are rolling their eyes saying, you think? But now the pandemic forced me to be home and make breakfast and having dinner every night and literally being there 24/7. And 6 months, 8 months into it, he's a different kid. He is he's happy. He has a bounce in his step. He's making great decisions. He's, a junior in high school, and I'm so proud of him. But if the pandemic didn't come, I wouldn't have had that.
That's,
situation.
you know what, so that makes me want to ask or point out, then how do we support our staffs, our creative hairdressers, our young, and everyone's experiencing anxiety. So what you just described in being with your son, is that what we as leaders and business owners need to be doing with our staffs? Because aren't we parenting on some level?
Yeah. I mean, we have to, and you've always been so good at this, and I've learned from you, is we have to, bring them resources. It's not only about making more money. It's not only about selling more product. It's not, about upselling, but it's about, how to handle the pandemic, how to, have wellness tools that they could bring home to their family, how to do these check-ins, and what they could do, and how they have to be positive for their family, because their families look at it. Their kids are looking at them like our employees are looking at us. And it's really important, but everyone's all over the scale on how they deal with it themselves. So bringing in professionals, having a Zoom call with professionals that offer this, and now and we'll pay for it. And if you decide you want to have a one-on-one with them, but ease them into it. So maybe it's a group wellness at first, Zoom call, or if it could be brought in, and then there's an opportunity that no one has to know that you end up calling that therapist and having your own meetings with them. But I just think we've all, again, you've taught us so much of this. We bring in mortgage lenders and teach them how to buy their first house. We bring in all these different people because, in order to make them better people, we want them to learn these skill sets, and not just about how to upsell and double book and all those things. And so we have to be aware of what they need right now. A lot of this.
So all of this is really then part of the customer experience / service development program. Yes?
Employee experience.
Yeah.
It starts with an employee. I've never studied a world-class customer service company that wasn't world-class to work for and with. For is top-down, with is each other, that they like working with each other. We got to start there. And then, what's felt on the inside will be delivered to the outside. And if we're not taking care of our employees and making sure they're taking care of themselves, and they can't take care of their family, there's no two lives. There's no work and personal. It's one life.
Yes. So as we wrap up, and kind of bring it full circle back to the, what people traditionally think as customer service. And, I was thinking about, you just had this in person with training with the Marriott. Was there anything that you shared with them that you'd like to share with us as a larger group?
Yeah, so like the salon industry, right? If you go to the Marriott, you're going to the Marriott. You're not dealing with the Marriott virtually. And something I just noticed, I was in Florida last week, and in Marco Island, and something that I'm sure everyone will agree with. Whenever you're on vacation at a nice resort, or all inclusive, or wherever, Disney, there's something different about everyone there. Everyone there is and people say hi, strangers. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Well, I noticed last week in Marco walking down the street, and not a lot of people had their masks on, which is totally irrelevant to my story. No one was looking at each other. And it was the first time I've ever been on a vacation where everyone's not saying, good morning, great, isn't it a beautiful day? And so I think what's happened is the pandemic, the mask and being home or all the time, there's a lack of empathy. When you're home all the time and in your own circle, you're not exposed to seeing the single mom trying to work 2 jobs. You're not seeing the homeless veteran. You're not seeing diversity. And so you get a lack of empathy. And so we have to bring that back. We have to be aware of that because there is this new disconnect. And that's why people are starving for it. So whether it's a coworker walking into your salon or it's a guest walking into your salon, we got to give them that energy. People love energy, and we got to be energy givers. We got to be like, Deborah, and genuinely be happy and excited to see Deborah and make it about Deborah and not make it about us. And I really think the pendulum has swung so far over to high-tech, no-touch, that the businesses that can, and we're so lucky that our experiences are forced in person, we can take advantage of that and really deliver it in a way that people haven't had it in so long.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, John. I just want to encourage everyone that's listening that, I signed up and I get your email, your newsletter. I don't know how often I get it, but it's always so beneficial to my thinking. And I usually, share it with a bunch of people. And so I would really encourage people to check out everything that John does, from the books he's written and signing up so that you can get a regular communication from him. Because he has a lot of experience and insight, and I always get, really appreciate it, John. So,
thank you. And I tell you this all the time, and personally, I tell you this: you and Edwin and the whole Neil world has had such a big impact. It's been 30 years, and just taught me so much early on in my career about the right way to do business and the right way to take care of people and be there for them. And you guys have always been there for us in the good times and in the not so good times. And I really appreciate what you've done for my career and me personally. So thank you.
Thank you. It's been mutually beneficial. So thank you so much. So again, check out John DiJulius. He's a real gift. Thank you, John. I appreciate you.
Thank you.